NNF After Dark is brought to you by Sandpiper Vacations. For all of your vacation planning needs, visit www.sandpipervacations.com. Tell them that the No New Friends podcast sent you.
Welcome to NNF After Dark. Chris is going to take you through the highlights of the previous episode and maybe even say some bad words, plus celebrity interviews and much, much more. And now, here he is, the scumbag reselling hoarder himself, Chris Yob.
Welcome to No New Friends. I wanted to whisper it this time because I feel like ASMR goes a little bit further with our audience.
Just not on Zoom because I couldn't hear shit.
Yeah, I did. Okay, so this is No New Friends After Dark for those of you who did not hear me whisper the term After Dark. I don't know what episode number this is because we are recording
161
tonight. 161. Scott usually has that on me for Riverside, which is the platform we do recording. Not the case tonight because we had an awesome interview tonight, which you will hear in the next week's episode. Maybe? I don't know. Maybe if you're lucky enough. I'm not sure. Speaking about next week, I'm not going to be here. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to be scoping out Hitler's summer camp. I will be in Germany. True story. I will be doing an excursion to his summer camp. Don't know why it's so fascinating to look at Hitler stuff. Probably because he was probably like the top one worst human being of all time. Maybe two under Pontius Pilate, who killed Jesus Christ. I don't know. He's definitely in contention. Next week you can look forward to
I know of a worse human being ever.
Go ahead.
Okay, the first co-host to ever leave Remy's Roundtable, Joey Mazan.
Oh, Joey Mazan.
Yep.
Yeah, Joey Mazan. Yeah, thank you for interrupting me during my intro,
Sorry.
Scott. Appreciate
Sorry.
that.
Go ahead.
That's Scott.
I'm the Mary of this episode.
I will introduce him a little later, but this is a little unorthodox tonight, I guess. I don't know. Next week you can look forward to Carl Gottlieb. Who the hell is Carl Gottlieb, you might ask? If you live under a rock, Carl Gottlieb wrote the screenplay for Jaws. That's right. The shark movie, Jaws. Super interesting interview. We also have an interview with Eddie Deason, who is literally in every show of my childhood.
I'm going to interrupt your monologue again.
Go ahead.
Because what's so funny about the Eddie Deason interview is we just thought Polar Express in Greece.
Yeah.
And you guys weren't really like super, it's always exciting to get someone who's been in film and television,
Sure.
But it's okay. It's okay. The second you actually saw his graphic and saw everything that he's been in, you lost your mind. And it was one of our best interviews. It was one of the most entertaining interviews we've done.
It truly, truly was. Eddie Deason was a genuine human being who I will dream about probably tonight. I don't think I will ever get his voice out of my head. If you ever watched Polar Express, he's the know-it-all kid. If you ever watched Dexter's Laboratory, he's the ha ha kid. Super big part of my childhood. So you can look forward to that next week. If you hate me, at least listen next week because I won't be on at all. I will be in Germany. Maybe I'll post some updates on Patreon. I said maybe because I will not. I won't do that. But you can maybe look forward to that. You can look forward to, this is going to be a long spiel, guys. Just bear with me. You can look forward to a best of montage of Scott and I on other podcasts that Sophisticated Gentleman's going to compile for us. Not to be confused with compile, which is something that is in Nick's search history. He's going to compile a best of Scott and I on other podcasts that we've been on. So look forward to that. I am cautiously looking forward to that.
I think that's going to be fun. It's something different than just playing our classic mashups or, things that you've heard on our podcast. But maybe I'm sure that there are some people who don't necessarily listen to Remy's Roundtable or Nerd Archive or different podcasts that we've appeared on or whatever. So there are some classic moments in those. One just happened the other night. When I said Judy Garland is a hot piece of ass.
It's true. You know what else is true, Scott?
What's that?
Cut me off one more time during my intro before I introduce you. I'll fucking kill you. All right?
I know, I'm waiting to talk because I haven't heard my name yet.
I know. I'm trying. Listen, Nick.
Nick's following the rules.
This has nothing to do with you and everything to do with. I have not introduced any of you yet. Listen, Scott gave me this long fucking encyclopedia list of things. You got to talk about this. And you got to talk about that. I don't want to talk about this.
Welcome to the realities of hosting, motherfucker. It's not just welcome to After Dark, but it's not really After Dark. It's actually during dark. No, I don't know why they call it After Dark. Hey, this is Scott from the No New Friends podcast. But this is the No New Friends podcast. It's not as simple as just that.
No, it's not. And it makes it even harder. It makes it even harder when you have assholes interrupting you during it, right? So I do have 2 more Post-it notes to read through that you instructed me to read through before we get to the actual content of the episode. Listen, if you hate this, just keep hitting that 15-second fast forward. I give you permission. Actually, don't hit that yet. We're going to have both Ryans. We're gonna have a Ryan overload on the episode that I'm not here on. Scott's like, oh, Chris, look into my eyes. I could never do an episode without you. Then he's like, 5 minutes later, he's like, you know what? Your old news gonna have both Ryans on next week. I'm looking forward to that. I won't be listening because I'll be partying in Germany at Oktoberfest.
That'll be in 2 weeks. Yeah,
I will be still hungover from Oktoberfest in Germany, but you can look forward to that. And After Dark. Oh my gosh, we have a treat. Because guess what? You won't be hearing my voice talking for 15 minutes during the intro. You're going to hear the sexy, the accomplished, the distinguished Nick from Sandpiper Vacations. I'm just going to introduce you right now, Nick, because Scott's already talked 45 times during the episode. Nick, how the hell are you?
I'm fucking amazing.
Oh, beautiful.
Simple response for you.
Beautiful. Thank you for making it short and sweet, just like Scott always probably makes it.
Just like my sex life.
Yeah. Do have a couple more housekeeping before we get to the actual episode. So please, I'm begging you, bear with me. Scott has a virtual gun to my head. I do have to say this. So first of all,
it doesn't have to be this difficult.
Oh, it's you make it difficult. So first of all, I do want to gun away from my head because I do like to express this. We are broadcasting live from the Sandpiper Vacation Studios. Beautiful in here, very roomy, way bigger than my apartment. I forever grateful that Nick from Sandpiper Vacations lets us broadcast from this virtual studio because it's beautiful. It's part of the metaverse.
It's huge.
I think. Yeah, it's ginormous, which is synonymous with other
super gay
of Nick. Anyway, vote for us. And if you don't vote for us, I'll remember. Vote for us on Orlando Weekly. Go to orlandoweekly.com. Pretty sure. Sure, it's orlandoweekly.com, right, Scott? You say it 15 times an episode.
Vote.orlandoweekly.com.
Don't forget the vote. Vote.orlandoweekly.com. Vote for the No New Friends podcast, the podcast you're listening to literally right now. If you're hearing my voice, you're listening to us. So no surprise there. Local notables. We're under the category local notables. Best local podcast. You might say, Chris, you're from New Jersey. Why would I vote for you for Orlando? Because guess what? The podcast is based out of Orlando, you asshole. All right, Craig. Craig, if you ask me one more time, why am I voting for you the best of Orlando? It's because the podcast is based out of Orlando. All right, Craig.
Who the hell's Craig?
A guy who voted for us, but questioned why it was out of Orlando because I'm from New Jersey.
Well, and Disney's there and Universal's there.
Thank you.
Well,
thank you.
If Chris wants to get us nominated for best of New Jersey, we'll probably win that because who lives in New Jersey?
Literally every better person lives.
I just got nominated for something in Virginia, so it works.
Well, we're going to talk about that in a second because I do want to know more about that. But before we talk about what Nick was nominated for, we have another host nominated for something. Scott Maffei. Is he French? I don't know. Sounds like it though.
Italian.
Really?
Yeah, it's Italian.
That doesn't sound.
It doesn't sound.
Have you never heard my
Very
stories
French.
of when I end up at the only reason why I go to the Italy pavilion at Epcot is Daniel, the bartender, And I'm always like, oh, because he's from Italy. And I'm like, oh, I'm the Maffei family. He's like, well, are you from Sicily or are you from here? I was like, I don't fucking know. I'm Italian, God damn it. And he's like, well, one Maffei is good. The other Maffei is bad. And I was like, well, I'm the good one. He goes, I don't know. You don't know where you're from.
I don't know. Nick, did you ask for that story? Because I did. I surely did.
It was not a good story.
No, it was not.
No.
So
I'm just like, do they serve Bud Light in Italy, Pavilion?
No, but I can't find a drink that I like. I've tried the limoncello drink, garbage.
Because you're French, dude.
You're not Italian.
French.
Yeah,
because you're French.
You don't look Italian.
No,
I've never heard you talk about pasta.
nothing. Never.
We make God, what are they called?
You don't even know what it's called.
No.
For
Fucking
Christmas, we make
escargot?
cannolis and oh god, there's this hard like nut thing that we make. It's
Nick, what is that called?
I know the answer to that.
Scott, spoiler, you're not Italian, you're gay.
But spoiler alert, I found out I was 23% Russian Jew.
Wow. We stand with Ukraine, first of all. I do want to address that. I don't want any misconceptions about that. Scott, we're just gonna I'm gonna mute you, like we are on Around the Horn, and I'm gonna mute you real quick. So please disregard everything Scott just said and vote for Scott Maffei as best local radio voice. Scott fucking made the nomination because he's a boss. So you're going to vote for No New Friends podcast under local notables, and you're going to vote for Scott Maffei under best local radio voice. And you will do it because I'm telling you to, son. It's Father's Day. Do it. Obey your father. Okay. So that's all housekeeping today. Now
that's all the time we have for tonight.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to the No New Friends podcast. We'll see you next time.
Okay, I'll tell you what. Scott held a virtual gun in my head, like I said, and said, "You're going to talk about all this." It's like, you're going to definitely want to talk about next week, and I'm not going to be here next week.
Well,
I don't know why
I said, just let me discuss that real quick. You're like, I did. I said when we start the episode, let me address what's going on next week so I can kind of give a little teaser and all that. And you're taking notes on the little sticky notes. I'm like, all right, he's got this.
Yeah. Don't remember that.
I need to speak up now because it's Pride Month. It's my month. Let's talk about me now.
Hey,
we haven't talked much gayness yet.
Finally, someone taking charge here. I like a man that takes charge. So it is Pride Month, and that's kind of what's going to lead us into our next topic, is the fear that Nick will kill me in my sleep if we don't talk about Pride. Pride Month is here, and I did go to a Pride event, and I got a free Pride flag. Why don't people give out Pride flags other than Pride Month? Rainbows are legit the coolest fashion statement since, I don't know, short shorts, maybe like the above the knee shorts that Scott will never wear because he's 70. And rainbows are so in, below the knee shorts are so out, cargo shorts included. Nick, do you or Sean own cargo shorts?
We used to, and they were great when you like go on the Disney World and wearing cargo shorts, but now we have a stroller for that. So
I see.
Well, especially when you got to put your cell phone in the cargo pocket and all that and lock that shit up.
Yeah.
Yeah. The cargo shorts.
It hides all the junk in my trunk, if you know what I mean.
The cargo shorts had a great heyday. Even the camo. Was the camo cargo shorts ever big down there, Scott? I guess camo's always big down in Florida.
Yeah, camo's always big down here.
Yeah, see, it's big because of the racism. I feel like people think that they can hide the racism with the camo, but up here,
they don't. They don't try to hide it. They're trying to hide from the deer so that they can shoot the deer.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. Up here, it was like a hip hop thing. So I did have like camo cargo shorts for a little bit. Great in its heyday. Now I have to do those damn like the khaki shorts that are really hot and thick, and I don't even know what we're talking about at this point, but I just really want to express my hate against the khaki short community. It is Pride Month.
This is the khaki short community is my community. Goddamn it.
The cargo short is your community. The khaki short is my community. No, it is not the same. It is not the same.
It's a little different.
Maybe down south, but up north, it is not the same. Cargo shorts, you're like one of those anime kids running through hallways with your arms held up like you're from Naruto. Down south, it's like that. You're just a dad. You're just a dad or bald. Up here, it's totally different. Enough about see. Sean says cargo shorts are out. Shorty short shorts are in. I'm on the shorty short shorts train. I have decent thigh muscles. My abs are hidden by my gut, but my thigh muscles come in. The calf muscles, perfect. Perfect. Because calves are super easy to do at the gym. Ab workouts, not so much. Not
Well,
for me.
your calves are huge because it has to support all that fat.
You would know. So yeah, so
I have
cargo
fantastic
shorts,
calves.
cargo shorts, as Ryan describes best, just scream single dad, which we will get into segment 2 about. But this isn't about you, Scott. This isn't about you. This is about Nick, because it's June 15th as we're recording this, Pride Month. Nick, I before we get into what Pride Month means to you, I do want to kind of figure out what Pride Month means in Germany when I go to Germany next week. I think Pride's pretty. I feel like Germany has no right to discriminate against anybody or anything because of what happened in World War II. But I think that everything's accepted over there. Not sure. We'll find out because I will be wearing my Pride paraphernalia over there. Paraphernalia. I don't think it's paraphernalia. Pride merchandise. Pride.
And I'm actually going to be in Barcelona Saturday. We head on a cruise out of Europe, so I'm anxious to see how the world kind of celebrates Pride Month. So we'll be in France and Italy too. So
yeah, you know what's funny is first of all, well, I guess you'll be there a little bit sooner than I am because I'm going next week. But yeah, it did. That was something that went through my mind, not just because like my mom was like, oh, should I, are these fashionable to wear in Germany? Should be the same. I was like, Mom, nothing you wear is gonna look nice over in Germany. Like they have a totally different style than us, right? But the thought crossed my mind, like we have Pride Month in June in the United States. I wonder what Pride Month is in the rest of the world. I guess we'll find out. I guess we'll talk about that. But since we are in the United States and Pride Month is running rampant because it is June, Nick, what does Pride Month mean to you? When did it start being significant to you? And when did you start actually like full-blown celebrating it? What do you do during Pride Month? What do you do differently? Is there anything you do differently now than you do the rest of the year? I have so many questions to ask.
all the questions all at once. I love
it. Yeah, but please start wherever you feel comfortable, and we'll just touch on the rest later.
I grew up in a small town, Lima, Ohio. You might have heard of us on a TV show called Glee.
Oh, okay.
Chris sounded surprised. He literally talked about that in the very first We Say Gay episode.
I can't remember if when.
Yeah, you did. You did. And I said, oh, I love Glee. And you said it's not as fancy.
Yeah. So I moved to Columbus in 2005, and I moved here about 2 weeks before the Pride Festival. So I was actually dating a guy down here at the time. So I went to my first Pride in 2005 here, and basically just a long parade that you get to watch on Saturday morning, and it leads to a festival afterwards with a bunch of different vendors and just rainbows and unicorns and glitter everywhere.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah. So to me, I didn't really know too much about it growing up in a small town, just kind of coming in. Columbus has a huge Pride. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger every year. We are one of the top 2 or 3, I think, in the Midwest.
Oh, wow.
But it's kind of changed over the years for me on my view of it. Like before, it was a celebration of just being yourself and celebrating love.
Right.
You see so many bars and businesses and companies in the parade just showing their support for the gay community.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't until probably later on that I kind of learned the history of why we do the Pride, and it's the fact that we shouldn't really be calling it a parade and more of a march.
Okay, that's interesting.
It's essentially it's a parade. There's floats and stuff in it, but it all started with a march back in I believe 1969. I think we talked about it in a previous episode, and I know, fun year, right? 69.
Yeah, why not? That's a perfect year.
Very fitting. Very fitting.
So it was started in New York City with the Stonewall riots. So Pride started as a riot. People were trying to just fight for their life, to be themselves, to go out to the bars, wear what they want, be who they want. And over the years, obviously things have progressed, and has become more accepted, and pride festivals and parades have become more popular, more just showing your acceptance, showing how much you care about it. So, but probably back in, I don't know, 2011, when I started working for Miller Lite, that's when things kind of changed for me with Pride, and that for me, Pride Month was work. It was
Right. Yeah.
it's you can ask my husband as well too. I'm like, don't talk to me during Pride Month. It was very busy for me because of my business and just getting the brand out there and the recognition. And it's I learned from working with Miller Lite, it wasn't just slapping a rainbow on something. We've seen so many businesses over the years just putting a rainbow on it, and they're not really supporting the gay community. So for Miller Lite, my job was year round. I was working in the gay bars and the gay community 24/7. There's businesses that come in 1 week a year, slap a rainbow on something.
Sorry, I got a question for you. So you got assigned to the gay district as a sales rep?
Yeah. So my job was specifically, I worked for a gay marketing agency, and Miller Lite hired 5 reps across the country to represent Miller Lite and Coors Light for the gay community. So it was a very unique job that I'm still surprised and lucky that I had that job. It was a great opportunity, especially looking at the other cities. We were represented in Dallas, Texas, New York City, San Francisco, and LA, and then Columbus, Ohio. So,
and we've kind of talked about this before, the in the Gay 101 episode in the gay marketing agency. How much influence did you have, and was there any type of consulting as far as like their marketing strategies, and how do you market towards at that time just the LGBT community or whatnot?
So our agency was strictly an LGBT marketing agency.
Okay.
This was before the QIA plus and everything else. Yeah. So when I started our agency, we presented to Miller Lite and Coors Light, here's what you need to do for your marketing. It's not, like I said, it's not just putting a rainbow on something. We helped create taglines that became billboards. We did magazine advertisements and TV commercial type stuff.
So you had a lot of influence.
Yeah. So our company was huge. Every year we would come up with a tagline for what Miller Lite would be or what Coors Light would be that would go with the gay community. So we did one year with Miller Lite. So we did LBGT, but we laid it out as light beer, great taste. So we teamed it up with Miller Lite's slogan, but teamed it with the gay community.
Wow,
so
that's cool.
Sorry that it was a lie, because Miller Lite is not great taste.
Yeah, it wasn't my favorite.
You know what's funny is Bud Light drinkers versus Miller Lite drinkers are like Ford versus Chevy, or Dale Jr. versus what was the other NASCAR driver's name?
Versus a car crash?
No, Junior. Dale Earnhardt Jr. And then the other was Jeff Gordon. Who was that?
Sounds right to me. I'm not 24, racist, so I have no idea what you're talking about.
I walked into that. I don't know NASCAR, but yeah, it was Jeff.
Sure. All right.
All right. Anyway, continue, Nick. Sorry, Jeff Gordon. Yes.
And we created all these awesome campaigns that we actually won a contest for the brand of Miller Lights that we did so much better than all these other programs nationwide with creating a giveaway program that we gave away tickets to Las Vegas. We did a contest that we did in Las Vegas. You won tickets to see Britney Spears. So we helped increase the sales. We helped introduce the brands to people and let them understand why they should support. Sean just walked in. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
Dog's barking.
I can't hear the dogs at all, actually, Nick.
Oh, yeah.
Can you hear them, Scott?
No. Sometimes I hear the chains.
Scott here have a full erection if I can hear the dogs, so it's a really easy tell.
Well, that's all right. If I get a full erection with the dogs coming in, you've got a full erection when Sean comes in.
I say, hey,
it's fair.
So we came up with all these consumer giveaways for Miller Lite and Coors Light that's just resonated with our clients. Let them know why they should drink the brand, support the brand. let them know that Miller Lite and Coors Light were the first. Coors Light was the first brewery to offer same-sex benefits.
Oh,
And this was even after Coors Light came out basically as anti-gay. So just letting
Because of
people
Harvey
know.
Milk.
Yep. Yeah. The whole Harvey Milk incident in San Francisco. So you're listening.
Yes.
So yeah.
Wait,
So
was Harvey Milk good or bad?
He was a good guy.
He was a good guy. Yes. So
Yeah. So he was a politician that ran in San Francisco.
yes,
And
the blood of Harvey Milk is
Yeah.
the Bud Light.
yes.
and got
Yes.
shot.
Blood of Hard Milk. Yes.
So spoiler alert, he got shot.
Oh,
You
Yeah.
did. You didn't see Milk, did you, Scott?
I think that's a different milk, maybe.
Brush up on your cinema.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was a really good movie that came out about it too. So
Milk? Is that really about Harvey
it's
Milk?
called
Milk.
Yeah, it's called Milk.
Oh, huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not about dairy.
Yeah.
But-
That's why I stayed away from it. I hate milk.
I know you're lactose intolerant. I know. Nick, just want to touch on this really quickly. Because I've been thinking a lot about this lately, and there's companies that we always say, like, they didn't just slap the rainbow on their logo, right? And do you think in some instances that is enough? Not enough to the point where it's like, I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but I just feel like any representation or any promotion of the LGBTQ plus community is a good thing.
Yes.
So if a company wants to slap their rainbow on something during June and not do anything else, could you be doing more? Yes, but I don't know if it's right to demonize these companies for not doing more, because slapping the rainbow, at least they're showing some sort of support. Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, I feel like they're showing support. I feel like just in this year specifically, that we're starting to see pushback from them and them not being that ally.
Right.
So,
right.
As we discussed before too, there's a lot of people that are allies out there, but they're not understanding. They're not standing there getting stones thrown at them. They're backing off from that. We're still getting stones thrown at us. So if you want to continue supporting us, show us that. Don't, if somebody's going to boycott you like Bud Light, then keep promoting that Bud Light rainbow. Don't just get rid of it and say, oops, we messed up. So.
Yeah. And so you talk about slapping rainbows on things, right? And that's great. That's great. You're putting a rainbow on something.
Speaking of slapping rainbows on things, check out our website, nerdyfriendspodcast.com. Visit, see our merch. We've got a pride line out there. It's fantastic. Yes. You'll love the rainbows that we slapped on our logo.
Yeah, support real allies that actually are trying to be progressive.
It's great to see that support for us as a gay person to go somewhere where I see a rainbow on something. I'm like, I feel like this should be a safe space for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that place going to be a safe space if something were to happen? That's where the questions are starting to come in now, versus 8 years ago where, it's rainbow, it's pride, you're celebrating, and we're supporting. And now we're entering a new phase of it, I feel.
Absolutely. And that's what I kind of wanted to touch on next, is that pride and go ahead, Scott.
Sorry, real quick before you move on. Nick, when you talk a lot about the companies that slap a rainbow or the companies that are true allies, real quick, can you name a couple companies that are true allies that you would consider true allies?
I don't know. That's a tough one because I don't fully pay attention to the news anymore.
I don't either. It's horrible.
It's like the big thing that happened this year with Target, that I talked about, how they pulled a piece of clothing line that people were throwing a hissy fit about from their Pride collection. That's where we're starting to see it this year. But previously, like the companies that I've seen support Pride, like Chipotle and a local restaurant called Piata, which is starting to expand nationwide. Bunch of different banks as well too. You see too. So those companies, like, I'm sure they support the gay community. It's not something that I'm going to look into. I don't.
Right.
I'm going to support a bank that is supporting me, but and that's what we taught too when I worked with Miller Lite, is support those that support you as well too.
Yeah, I totally get that. Now, what I was going to touch on was the slapping a rainbow, doing this, doing that. That's all great. Like I totally support that. If you do nothing more than slap a rainbow on your logo during Pride Month, I still commend you for that. I think that's great. I think that's a great show of support. I did talk about the story last week about how I was wearing just the Pride shirt, and someone said, "I like your shirt." And I feel like that's what that rainbow is for, is to make people, like you said, make people feel more safe. Now, the rainbow also makes people feel unsafe in certain parts of the country, Nick. Now, can you elaborate on that and about how Pride is more important? Pride Month this year is more important than any other year in recent memory because of the cancellation of Pride events in certain regions of the country.
And by certain regions, you mean mostly Florida.
I mean, mostly Florida. Correct.
That's where pretty much most of it is happening. There's stuff happening all around the country. I know Tennessee was trying to basically ban drag shows to where children were able to see the drag shows,
which was shot down, if I remember correctly.
Exactly,
right?
Which was
by a Trump-appointed judge. If I remember correctly.
Very surprisingly overruled of like freedom of speech and all that. But yeah, unfortunately, we're seeing a lot of prides canceled this year just because we don't feel safe. There's a lot of communities out there that are, even in our own community here, where we get threats all the time from different events. I just attended a pride in Virginia 2 weeks ago, and there was a tiny threat, but it wasn't anything physical. It was just more of a company that's like, I'm going to stop supporting you guys now, kind of thing. So they're trying to boycott the companies that are supporting Pride, which is what's happening with Bud Light.
Is it a big company? Is it a big company, Nick, that's not supporting?
No, it was a local.
I was going to say, please name it so we cannot support it.
Yeah, it was like a local thing that was nothing.
Gotcha.
So.
Nick, boycotts aside, it's getting really scary.
Yeah, I mean, there was pictures outside of Disney a couple days ago with Nazi protesters.
Yep,
and it's just scary for us as a community. It's scary for the people that are allies. It's everybody's.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I was just thinking about this the other day, Nick. I remember a couple years ago, Orlando Weekly puts on this great event. It's called United We Brunch, and it's during Pride Month, and it's this big gay brunch before. It's like it's like pre-gaming for the big Pride parade in downtown Orlando. And my wife and I have been to this. We went to the Pride parade and all that. No big deal. But now it's getting so bad where it's like, we're totally, if my schedule works out, we're totally going to go wear our Pride shirts and all that. But now it's to the point where I'm like, I'm kind of scared. Is someone going to drive a car through the crowd? Is someone going to, it's even as an ally, it's scary. And I can't imagine what you go through on a daily basis. And it's like, it sucks. There's a lot of Pride events here in Florida that are getting canceled because of
the laws that are coming in place, the safety. It's scary. And I think I mentioned too, there was a drag show a couple months ago at a brewery here in Columbus that was getting protesters outside with guns, and it's like, why?
Which is
affecting you?
Which is ridiculous because it's just crazy that, like, even me as an ally, I feel the same way you do, Scott. It's like, I would love to attend these things. Of course, I don't think that in New Jersey it's much of a threat. I think it'd be more so if I was in Florida. But yeah, it's scary because, and it's not like I don't want to support the gay community. It's that I'm scared that some insane person is going to be insane during it. It's just it's a sad world that we live in, and I don't know. Yeah, and it's just like me having to worry about one of those events. You have to worry that on a daily basis, like Scott said. It's just crazy to me.
Yeah, and I feel like this year for Pride, it's hopefully becoming more of that march again versus the parade of just showing how amazing we are and everything like that. We're fighting for our lives and showing people we're not giving up too. So a lot of these people or places I've seen are canceling their Pride festivals. But in return, they're just not backing down. They're showing up reaching out to their government officials and finding ways to continue showing, like, moving forward from, we're basically backing up to 1969 again of trying to fight for those rights again.
Absolutely. I hope that you don't feel that way totally, because we do live at a time where it is way more accepted than 1969. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
It is, but it is. I think we're moving forward, but it's also getting so much worse. It's like as more forward as we're getting, it's also so much worse on the other end too.
Well, I have a counter argument to that, Scott, because if you never were to see those Nazis protesting outside, there's 12 people protesting outside of Disney World, would you ever know that they were there?
I mean, it made the news, so I don't know.
No, that's what I'm getting at. Is those I do feel like listen, us as a podcast, we're going to talk about anything that we think is interesting. We're going to talk about anything that we think, just like we named the episode Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield confirmed in Spider-Man, right? Why do we do that? Because we're going to get clicks, right?
Right.
Yeah, and shame on these news outlets, because look, we do that innocently for views. Shame on these news outlets for giving these handful of idiots protesting outside of Disney World the exposure that they want. They want that. They're doing this out of hate, and they're doing that because they want. The majority of this country do not align with their views.
Yeah.
But you say that, and I see all the legislature that's going through here in Florida. And that's why I'm like, we make so many steps forward, because I think we're better as a majority of society, accepting, and then some of us celebrating the LGBTQ plus community and the gay culture, as we called it in our first We Say Gay episode. But then I see all of this legislature going through, and it's like, I don't ever remember seeing this much of an effort to take away gay rights.
I do truly, Scott, believe that the age we live in, with social media and with the news, as powerful both of those entities are, is that why would any of those organizations run articles on love? Hate is what gets them the clicks and the views. And it's an unfortunate world that we live in. And really what I'm trying to say is that there are people out there that hate gay people. There are. But there are a hell of a lot more people that love you for who you are. And I don't want any gay person or anybody in the LGBTQ plus community to see a tweet or a news story about 12 Nazis protesting outside of Disney to think that the whole country is against them. And that's really what I'm trying to get at. There's a lot of, there are evil people in this world. There are evil people in this country. There might be an evil person living next door to you, but there's a lot of allies. There's a lot of people that love you, and we have made progress. And I don't want that one news story to make you think that we are back in 1969, because we are not. We are in 2023.
And Chris, I agree with you. And sorry, I don't mean to cut you off,
No,
because I know
go
you're
ahead.
trying to like end this segment, but this is a good debate.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
This is new. This is the North versus the South. Seriously, and I want to talk about this.
It is. I think you're right. I think you're right that this is the 2023 and all that. And again, I want to bring Nick in, because we're two straight men arguing.
What? You're straight?
Yeah, right. That's debatable at times. Although we'll get to this in a second. We have determined, like, Chris lost some gay percentages today.
I did.
But Chris, I think you're right that the people that accept and support and are allies, we've come so far, because we talked about this last week, that we're Gen Zers and millennials. It's kind of one and the same with LGBTQ, Gen Z, it's just, they accept. So I think the good is better than it's ever been. The allies are larger. The community of allies are larger than they've ever been. But I think the hate is worse than it's ever been.
Yeah.
I don't think that, Scott. I think
look at 7 years. Look at 7 years ago. Some guy shooting up a gay nightclub.
I do think it's portrayed as that, Scott. But you're talking about hundreds of years ago that you couldn't even say you were gay. because you could kill it
okay.
on the spot.
Hundreds of years ago, yes, of course. I'm talking about now versus 10 years ago, 20 years ago.
No. I totally understand what you're saying. And Nick, chime in after what I have to say, because I would love to hear your opinion on this. I feel that we live in a time where equality is accepted more so, but it doesn't seem that way because you have these bigots on the internet. I think social media is the worst thing that happened to anybody who has any type of insecurities, whether you're gay, whether you're black, whether you're Asian, whether you're whatever. All these idiots have a voice now, and all these idiots can be they have this soapbox to stand on now, and you have the media. Scott, why did you name the episode Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire confirmed if you didn't even know it was true?
Listen, of course for clicks, but before we bring in Nick,
sure,
I understand where you're going, and I understand what you're saying, and you're not completely wrong, but we have politicians that are feeding this hate and making it 10 times worse by stripping the rights of the LGBTQ plus community.
But is it a majority of politicians like it was 100 years ago, where you couldn't even say the word gay?
I think they are more powerful now than they were before because you could say gay a year ago here in Florida. You could say gay here a year ago in Florida. Now you can't.
I'm not saying you're wrong, but I think that social media plays a very negative role in this. And I feel like I feel like these people have a platform because of social media. And I feel like but one of my friends said to me best, social media is not the moral compass of the world. That whatever you read on social media isn't exactly the truth, and it's not a gauge on the if that was true, Trump would have won the election the last election. You know what I mean? There wasn't people tweeting about we need Joe Biden to be in presidency. We saw these hateful things and that Trump should be president, this and that. You know what I mean? So I am not neglecting or putting down the fact that there are hateful people out there and that homophobes don't exist. But I am saying that, and again, maybe it's because I'm in New Jersey. And that could be true. I am grateful to see the stuff that I see in my community. I see rainbow flags everywhere. I'm so happy every time I see one. Right. We've said this a million times. We have a long road ahead of us. But I don't think that we are worse off than we were in 1969, Scott. I just don't think that.
So I'm going to cut you off because that's enough of two straight guys debating.
I know. I do want to hear
person feels.
I do want to hear Nick. I do want to hear Nick's.
Nick, please jump in.
I agree with you both on this because yes,
don't do that. You're trying to be
I'm in the middle, man.
You want to stop the fighting.
I'm the gay guy. I know. I just want world peace. I feel like social media has played a lot into it, but like Scott said, it's not just Florida that's having a lot of LGBT anti-gay issues that are being put into laws now. The fact that these are becoming laws of how I can live my life and who I can love and what I can share with my child, what somebody else can share with my child, that's where the line is starting to get drawn in the gay community. And that's where we're struggling. And that's where these politicians are now going to keep feeding into, yes, maybe that social media they're going to keep feeding into, but the fact that we're allowing them to do that. And my lights just went out.
It's a little late Thursday.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like I said, I see it completely both ways. I feel like yes, we are going way backwards on a lot of stuff. When it comes to those legal issues, the fact that you can't have certain books, and it's not even just gay books now. It's like Black communities getting canceled in Florida, isn't it? Like Hispanic culture, like we're supposed to be a country about acceptance. We're supposed to be a free country. Where's my freedom? I should not still have to be fighting for those rights that they're trying to take away my gay marriage rights. There's people out there that are still trying to do this. And it sucks. It's scary for us as a gay couple, as two dads. And it sucks that we still have to live in fear because of, these people that we see on social media, but we're scared because they have guns and we've seen what they've done before.
What you said just really put it in perspective for me. I still believe things are better, right? But even things being better doesn't mean it's any safer for you, which it's easy for me to say that things are better because they could be, right? Because maybe there's less people that want to hurt you. Maybe there's less people that want to make laws against you, but there's still people out there that want to hurt you. There's still people out there that want to make laws against you. So even, I think you hit it around the nail right on the head. Scott and I are both right in the fact that we're moving forward and going backwards.
But I'm more right than Chris.
Well, no, if you were more right than me, then
Well,
you would be against this
so
stuff, right?
I'm more left than you.
Mommy and Daddy are mad right now.
But I do feel like we've gone forward, and I do feel like we've gone backward, and I feel like the perfect summary of this is we're going in circles. Is that we're going forward, we're going backward, and that even if you go forward, you can't fully move on until all of the negativity is put behind us. Because even if there's some people in this government, I'm going to just point them out, even if there's some people in this government that are against you, then it still feels like the world's against you. I mean, one powerful, important person putting up legislature, even if there's just one out of the millions of people, if they have the power to make laws against the LGBTQ plus community, that's a major issue. And this problem won't be resolved until there's nobody in that. And unfortunately, that will never happen. And the best we can do is fight for that to make it possible. And I feel like we have a fighting chance, especially with my generation. I can't speak on behalf of Scott's. I can speak on behalf of mine. And it's like I have conversations with a lot of my friends and people that are younger than me, and it's like we just don't get it. We just don't get the hate. We don't get the discrimination. And I feel like as time goes on, things will get better. Things will never, ever, ever be perfect. And I am eternally sorry that they will never be, because I will never understand the pain that you go through, or the hate, or the fear. But I can just hope and pray that things get as close to perfect as possible. We get these idiots out of office, and maybe we do need another civil war. I don't know. Like, what do we do to do this? Again, that was a joke. We do not need another civil war, but it's again, like we had these debates before the Civil War, pro-slavery, against slavery. I feel like we are going a little bit more divisive towards North and South with like tolerance. And I know you hate that word, Scott, but that's what it is down South, is tolerance towards minority groups and just acceptance. I feel
but you know what? If we could get more people tolerating, we'd be better. I'll take toleration from some of the Deep South at this point, you know.
But I do.
We'll tolerate a rainbow flag. We'll take it. Anything.
That's a win. That's a win in some areas.
Correct me.
Any
if I'm
publicity
wrong.
is good publicity.
Exactly. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I do feel like today it's tolerance versus acceptance, and I don't know. I just hope that everyone listening to this is accepting and not tolerating. And if you're not, please take a good hard look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, why are you tolerating this and not accepting it? I think that's a really good question to ask. It's a really good reflection for Pride Month. Why are you tolerating the LGBTQ plus community and not accepting them?
But if you're hating, we'll accept tolerating.
Hey, we'll take what we can get here. Just any further away from hate we'll take. But please accept people for who they are. Accept you for who you are. I don't know what else to say. This is No New Friends After Dark. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about Father's Day, because this is Father's Day week. We're going to talk about how the pros and cons of being two fathers. It's going to be a really fun conversation. Pros and cons of being a single father. We're going to talk about the pros and cons of being a non-father. This is No New Friends After Dark. We'll be right back.
There's more pros than cons.
There are 3 things that I hate in life: taxes, nausea, and booking vacations. The first 2 I'm stuck with, but for the third, I use Sandpiper Vacations. Sandpiper Vacations is a small business that is LGBTQ+ owned and operated with travel advisors all over the country. Whether it's a cruise, a trip to a theme park, or an all-inclusive resort, Sandpiper has you covered. Oh, and I forgot to mention, it's free. Why book a vacation when you can have someone else do it for you? That's like choosing to take the stairs in a building that has an elevator. Leave the headaches of booking a vacation to someone else. Get your quote today at www.sandpipervacations.com and tell them that the No New Friends podcast sent you.
If you'd like to hear all of our episodes, all of our past episodes, just visit our website, nonewfriendspodcast.com. All of our links to all of our old episodes are there. If you didn't understand an inside joke or just wanted to re-listen to something, just check it out. It's nonewfriendspodcast.com, or you can check us out on all streaming platforms.
Welcome back to No New Friends After Dark, during the day if you're listening to during the day, maybe during the dusk. I don't know when you're listening to this, but if you're listening to this, thank you for listening. This is a special Father's Day episode of the No New Friends podcast After Dark. I'm with 2 fathers.
It's a special Father's Day episode. This is the first time we've mentioned fathers all episode.
I don't think so. I think we talked about it once or twice. I thought it a lot.
I mean, we talked about fathers of the fathers of homophobia, the fathers of racism.
Yeah, that is true. The founding fathers
The
of
founding
bigotry.
father.
Yeah, of bigotry. So, yeah, close enough. But now we're going to talk about some damn good fathers. Well, damn good father, as in Nick.
Wow.
No, Scott's a great dad.
Yeah,
I
but
think.
tonight's
I
not
don't know,
about me.
actually.
This is about the gay dads.
I'm actually
Because
not
this is-
sure, Scott. I just made that up. We'll have to have your kids write in. No, I can't wait to dive into this topic because I'm not a dad, but spoiler alert, I will be a dad within the next couple of years. So I'm gonna need some tips. Nick, not that kind of tip. Not that kind of tip, Nick.
First off, you have to do more than the tip, I think, for that.
I can't wait. So we had so much fun talking about the house buying. I can't wait till we talk about the baby conception, and I can't wait for Chris to not be able to like produce for 3 months or whatever, and then we have to talk about low sperm counts and
Oh my gosh,
this
I'm
and
not
the
looking
other.
forward to that. I think I have a
That's
high
gonna be
sperm count.
fantastic.
People
Your
are
anxiety is going
saying-
to kick in and
Yeah,
you're going to get camera shy.
yeah.
Okay.
You're not going to be able to get it up.
Yeah.
This
tell you
is going to
what.
be this whole thing. I can't wait.
People are saying I have the highest sperm count. No, you know what? Before we get into the Father's Day, speaking about becoming a father, I do find it very weird that when Emily and I first started dating, which was in high school, so I guess this makes a little more sense. You know, sex was very taboo. You know, you don't talk about that stuff. Now we go to a family event and they're like, "Are you trying yet?" Like, what you ask me if I'm banging your granddaughter? Like, why are you
Yeah.
asking me this? It's like if I say yes, like what does that do for you?
I always found that so odd with heterosexuals because obviously my parents weren't asking if we were trying to conceive a child, but it's just
Weird, right?
It's an odd question to be like,
Very.
are you guys doing it?
When grandma
condom?
asks, are you guys trying? And they're like encouraging it. Like, well, why aren't you? It's like, well, you want to help? Like, what do you want to film? Like, I don't understand your angle on this. Like, I don't
Well,
get
they're not
this.
necessarily. I mean, like they know that you're having sex, but they're wondering if you're wearing a condom or not, or is she on birth control or not, or what's the situation?
Scott, nonetheless, is a weird conversation to bring up at the dinner table at Thanksgiving. That's all I'm trying to say.
It is.
It is. So, what I do want to talk about is Nick. You are a father.
That is correct.
Scott is a father, but you're both in different relationships. Nick, what are some of the trials and tribulations of being in a same-sex relationship, raising a little girl? I'm sure there's a lot of pros and I'm sure there's some cons.
Real quick, we need to clarify. It's not about being in a same-sex relationship raising a daughter. It's two dudes raising a daughter.
Correct.
Okay, because
You guys.
I know when my daughter was young enough and couldn't do her own hair, and she's like, "Daddy, could you do my own? Could you like put my hair in a ponytail?" Like this was the hottest mess ponytail
Yes.
ever. I mean, like my daughter looked like she had a night on the town, and it was white girl wasted trying to put up a ponytail.
Yeah,
See, and
that's fair.
I played with Barbies when I was a kid, so I feel like I had that practice. I mean, if you didn't know I was gay, at that age, I mean, come on.
But wait a second, I played with Barbies with my sister too.
Yeah.
Barbies are for everybody.
Polly Pocket for me. Polly Pocket for me. Yeah, I was a big Polly Pocket guy.
It was more the fact that I made sure Ken was naked all the time. So, but
so
yeah,
you're into what the anatomically incorrect dolls.
Yeah, it always annoyed me that he never had real hair though. So I wanted to do his hair up. So yeah, as we're gay dads, we have a black daughter on top of that too. So yeah, I had practice playing with Barbies and doing Barbie hair when I was a kid, but black hair is completely different.
Right.
And on top of that, every time we went out, like I almost felt like I was being judged because I'm like, is it okay? Am I doing it right? Because there's so much more products you have to use. You have to, she sleeps with a bonnet on every single night.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah. And my parents, when I took her over there one time with a bonnet on, they're like, why is she wearing this? And it's help keep her head, help keep her hair oily so it doesn't dry out and just break off too. So
how did you, Nick, how the hell did you, okay.
First,
I give you all the props in the world because, okay, you say you're raising a daughter, you're raising a black daughter. There's like a lot of different rules. Like you said, like how the hell did you learn all this?
From, and that's what was great about adopting is we had learned a lot of it in our adoption classes too. They taught us about how different black skin is and how you have to care for that differently in hair as well too. So our adoption agency used to teach classes on black hair, but they stopped doing it. But our social worker was very helpful with giving us some tips and tricks, and obviously with the help of YouTube out there. But we have a lot of great friends in our circle and neighbors even that have helped give us some tips. I'm usually the one that does her hair. If Sean does it, it's I know he's listening right now, but Sean, mute this. It's not that great, but
so Sean is the dude in the relationship.
Yeah,
okay,
he's getting better at it. Now he's gonna be evil looks.
So hold up. So in adoption, you had like the adoption classes where it's like CPR training and all the other stuff, but then there was like a subset of adoption classes where it was like black maintenance.
Yeah, there was a movie on it as well too that we had to watch. I remember it was a very dated movie, but yeah, it just talked about how blacks, like I said, the skin, the hair, and everything is so much different that you have to deal with. So
yeah, there's that's what scares me about being a dad. Someday, not now. If my mom's listening, no
Chris,
surprises.
just to let you know, there's no way you're gonna have a black kid. Like if that's what you're worried about, there's zero chance.
So
unless the milkman comes,
I am the milkman. I'm afraid. One of the scary things about being a dad is just there's no rule book for raising a kid. You know what I mean?
Well,
there's books out there.
I
didn't read them.
There's books and there are rule books.
Yeah,
you just ask Bill Cosby.
Yeah. America's Dad, probably many actually. That's probably why you got the name America's Dad. Is okay. I can't go on with this joke.
Sean just gave you a you bitch.
He loves me.
So yeah, so there's no like when they send you home from the hospital, they're not like, oh, here's your manual.
Yeah,
No,
and, it's all a learning process, and I'm still learning every single day. And her hair has changed since she was a baby, even too. So it's different products every single week. I feel of what's working and what's not.
Is that why you have the buzz cut? You're like, I am had it with doing the hair for my daughter.
It's less.
I'm not doing anything.
It takes a lot of time to get her ready, and especially with starting kindergarten in the fall, I'm not ready to get up at 6 a.m. to do her hair every single day.
See, yeah, because she's got to look fresh on the kindergarten. Yeah, she's got to look. She got to look good. you know? And
Yeah, we had a
that's another
great
fear of mine.
we have a great daycare that she's been going to since she was like 4 months old, and they've been phenomenal. One of the teachers there, she was kind of nervous to ask me at first. She's like, "Is it okay if I do her hair?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, please do it.
Please.
Tell me tell me all your secrets. Don't be afraid." I'm like, "Tell me if I'm doing it bad." Like, I've gotten so many compliments from other people, which is very helpful
That's cool.
on it.
Yeah.
So
Now men get very negative connotations when it comes to style and, like you said, hair. How do you overcome that being in a relationship with another man, like raising a daughter? Is it something that you're a confident guy? Like you're a confident guy. Like I feel like you're gonna dress your daughter and be like, no, she looks good. Like I know she looks good. But was there when you first started dressing her and bringing her out of public, was there that like fear of being judged, like, oh, is she wearing the right outfit or this or that?
it was never that for us because we're gay, so we kind of start. The gay community starts a lot of the fashion trends. Let's be
Okay,
honest.
fair enough.
Like, look at short shorts right now. Like,
Yeah,
we had those in style a long time ago.
it's
Y'all are just
true.
catching up to us.
Wearing them right now.
Yeah, I'm not even wearing shorts, so that's the next style for you.
Noted.
But I mean, the gay community, we're known as fashion forward, as all that. So we've always had amazing clothes for her and knew
That's a
what
great
we
answer. I love
yeah,
that.
we just knew what looked good, and I don't think she's ever worn anything crappy. We've had some stuff in our closet that has been given to us, and we don't put it on her if we know it's not gonna look good. And there's days now she's at an age where she likes to dress herself. And sometimes I just look at her and I'm like, you might want to rethink that a little bit. And then there's some days as I'm just like, I don't care. Go to school, dress how you want to, be yourself. So
That's cool.
I try to encourage that in her anyway, because I'm at a point in my life now that I dress them to impress, because I've already won an amazing husband and an amazing daughter, so I don't need to dress to impress them anymore. So.
That's amazing. Now, before I kick this over to Scott, because I want to know his trials and tribulations of being a single dad for off and on. I do want to ask a sentimental question, Nick. What does being a father mean to you?
It's just been amazing to see her grow into a personality that she represents both of us.
That's cool.
And I know Sean actually just put that in the chat as well too. And it's like even though she's adopted, she's not our blood. We see a lot of ourselves in her, and that's what's so amazing to get that and see her sass from me and her nerdiness of comics and Marvel from Sean. So
that's an awesome answer. I love that. That made me so happy hearing that. Wow.
Yeah, I feel like you're doing good when they just clap back at
you. It's cool because I resonate. That comment resonates a lot with me because I think I've touched on this before, but I don't have a lot of blood family that I'm close with, or a lot of blood family that's even living. It's that doesn't mean it's, when someone's not blood, that doesn't necessarily mean they're not family. I have way more family that's not blood. When me and Emily got married, I had way more guests than her, but I had way less family than her. But blood family, I should say. Mm-hmm. And it's cool. It's cool because it's nice to be able to pick your own family. And that was a really cool answer. I like that. Now Scott, you have few kids.
57.
Which one's your favorite? No, I'm kidding. We had
How many kids do you have?
I have 3.
3 kids, 2 beautiful little girls and 1 beautiful little son. They're all beautiful kids. I've had the privilege to meet one of them in person. No, 2 of them in person, actually. One briefly at
oh, that's right. Yeah, you met Darren and Abby. Yeah.
Yeah, Abby is a ball of sunshine, and she is just an awesome human being, and you should be proud to be all of their dad. They're just all great kids. And kind of what I wanted to go touch on with you was you were a single dad off and on. You just you weren't content with being a single dad, so you're off and on. And what was do you have any, I don't want to get too deep into this because this is we're trying to get a little lighter here. You have any but if you do want to get deep, please by all means. But do you have any fun stories about being a single dad, about anything? And I'm sure you do. I'm asking you this knowing the answer that yes, you do. But please elaborate on some of the fun stories that you're like you just kind of had to figure things out in the moment.
Yeah, man. We're not going to get too deep because there's a huge, deep story, and I think we're going to do an episode at some point where you kind of like dial deep into me and my backstory and all that. But for the purpose of tonight, I had two different stints as a two-year stints as a single dad. So it's kind of like 10-day contracts in the NBA. Nick, the NBA, National Basketball Association. Sometimes you have to sign someone to a 10-day contract, But anyway, I was a single dad twice. At two different times. Yeah, it was a struggle. I mean, we've told the stories before where like we alternated between chicken nuggies from 7-Eleven and Little Caesars Pizza, $5 hot and ready.
Sounds like me on a daily basis.
Yeah, that's just me for lunch. To this day, like my oldest two will never eat Little Caesars again because of how much Little Caesars we had. Because like women are so much better than like they can do the single parent thing. They just figure it out. They know how to hustle. They know how to like make sure their kid gets whatever they want. I have no idea. I have no idea what I'm doing.
Right.
Like I remember dropping Michaela off at daycare and like doing her hair, and like the daycare teacher was like, "Oh no, sweetheart." She goes, she's like, "Do you mind if I fix it?" I'm like, "Yes, please." Because like baby girl needs to have her hair up and I don't know how to do that because it was all like a mess. It was just terrible. But yeah, man, it like as a single parent, it was tough. It was tough. I worked a full-time job. Like I have so much respect for single moms because they do it so much better. It's like so much better.
Well, moms are just superheroes in general.
They are.
It's
and that's not a sexist thing. They just are. And
it's in their blood. I don't know what it is about.
Need to give women more respect than we do because
but no, we're not going to give them respect because it's Father's Day.
Yeah, that's true.
It's Father's Day.
This is our mom.
It's Father's Day.
They had theirs.
Yeah, this is our day. But yeah, I mean, it was tough, and luckily I had a great support system here with my mom and then my dad and then my sister, because I don't know how I would have done it. I worked 50 hours a week. I was a restaurant manager raising 2 and then 3 kids by myself.
Yeah, sick brag, all those hours.
Right. Chris, a job is something.
And now Nick's getting all before. So Ryan in chat says my air fryer gets a workout with my son, which is hilarious. I feel like if air fryers were a thing back when Scott was a single dad, because air fryers are fairly new.
Yeah, it's so easy to make chicken nuggets with.
Yeah,
and French fries for her.
Scott would be like, I would have saved a lot of money.
It's microwave
air fryer.
My microwave was on like overload all the time.
It's interesting hearing the parallels between you two raising both your respected children, because Scott being a single dad, Nick having two dad, your daughter having 2 dads. I don't know. It's just really interesting, the differences. Because I guess looking at Scott and looking at Nick, like you can tell Scott has no style. And so he's like, I don't know what to do with my daughter. And Nick's like, no, we got this. We got this.
I think there's some pros and there's some cons,
listen.
Yeah. And I think for us, the difference obviously is with adoption that we had those classes. We were in the hospital for a long time with Harper, that we had nurses teaching us a lot that we learned, and was ready to go for this. Because when Piper was born and we took her home from the hospital, it was such a different experience for us because with Harper, like we had all these nurses and everything, like every single day telling us what to do, and we had a set schedule. With Piper, they're like, basically the baby comes out of the womb and they're like, okay, here you go. And you're like, now what?
Scary. Yeah, it's scary for sure. All cheesiness aside, I don't want to get too cheesy in this episode, but I do hope to take qualities and attributes from both of you as fathers and implement it in my, raising of my children someday, because I just feel like both of you are just amazing dads in your own respective ways. The funness, the style, everything about it, just seeing the pictures and just seeing how great both of your children turned out. I hope to be someone like the both of you, and of course my father as well, who has been didn't really talk about him that much this episode because I'm not a dad, so but I can talk about my dad for a second. He's everything to me. So if I could if I could be just a percentage of all you guys just put together, we're gonna have a pretty damn good kid. Can't wait to talk about that when I can wait to talk about it, because I am not ready yet, but maybe next year.
Get in the house first.
Yeah, you're gonna get the house first, get the privacy first, then we'll talk kids. But you know what? It's gonna make for a hell of a Father's Day episode next year. Maybe. Spoiler alert. Maybe I'll be a half dad, because maybe the kid will not be born yet. So I'll be like a half father. You know what I mean? Like it's just developing. What are you? You're not a dad yet.
You're still considered a father. You can celebrate
Really?
Father's Day. Yeah.
Perfect. I'm gonna
At least
listen.
in my world.
Listen, I'm gonna expect a gift from Emily on Father's Day, even if the baby's still in the oven.
Meanwhile, this motherfucker buys like buy one get one free candles and stores one away for the next pet holiday.
Wow. We did not talk about that on air before. This has been No New Friends. This has been the life of Chris Yob. We'll be right back. Anyway, this is great. When we get back, we're gonna man, God help me, we're gonna have Scott summaries. I hope we have just a few, because I'm scared for my life. Every week it's scarier, because every week Scott gets a little more comfortable with both me and Nick. This is No New Friends After Dark. We'll be right back.
Hey, you want to join a cult? Well, this might be your lucky day. For just $2 a month and a simple blood oath, you can join our clubhouse and become a friend with benefits. In addition to the amazing feeling of donating to the poor, you will have access to Patreon exclusive content, live shows, and maybe even a behind-the-scenes look at my secret stash. To get started, head on over to nonewfriendspodcast.com and hit join our clubhouse. Can't wait to see you at the initiation ceremony. Oh, and in the chat during our live shows, of course.
Thanks for graciously listening to those commercials. They were really good ones. We worked really hard on those. And please contribute to every single one of those. It would mean a lot to us. Now, we have some summaries from Scott. We also call them here on No Different After Our podcast, Scott Summaries. Please, Scott, summarize the podcast for us.
Yeah, I only have a couple because I was more engaged than I normally am in the episodes that I have summaries, but here we go. All right. Chris did the longest intro ever at the beginning of the show. And in that amount of time, I calculated it out. I could have made 4,865 babies.
Happy Father's Day, Scott.
Happy Father's Day. Chris is going to be in Germany for 2 weeks. Maybe by the time he comes back, he'll be done with the fucking intro of the show by then. I don't know.
So true.
Chris talked a lot about his calf muscles. He also said that his abs are hidden by his stomach. I have no idea how he knows how big his calves are. They are also hidden by his stomach. Chris talked a lot about slapping a rainbow on things. Judging by how tight his shirt is tonight, he's been tasting the rainbow too much.
This is a large. If this is tight, then I'm in some trouble.
And finally, Nick talked a lot about how long it takes to get black hair ready for the day. Interestingly enough, the only thing that takes longer is Chris doing his hair.
It's true. It's true, actually.
Those are my summaries.
Thank you,
I
Scott.
like it.
Thank you, Scott. Thanks for listening to this episode of No New Friends After Dark. This has been a lighter take on No New Friends After Dark. We're going to go back and forth like a bisexual human being that I'm very jealous of.
And if you're bisexual, we'd love to have you on the
Please,
podcast.
come on.
So please come on. If you're pansexual, we need you as well. Trans, whatever. We need. I want to cover every single letter of the LGBTQ plus alphabet, not just the G.
Let's get a plus on. I don't know what plus means.
I don't know, but we want every representation on this podcast at some point.
Yeah, I think I might be a plus.
Well, you're a plus size.
I was about to say the same.
Lost my train of thought because I was just so depressed. Thank you for listening tonight. If you ever watch Rocket Man with Elton John, this podcast is the embodiment of Elton John having that orgy with all the men and women and maybe the pluses of the LGBTQ plus community. Oh, wow. I totally just slurred that whole thing. LGBTQ plus community. I thought I had it down. Scott. I thought I had all the initials down, and I just don't.
Let me show you how much I'm slurring at this point. Okay, this has been my night.
I thought I had it down. But yeah, so okay, so what was I saying? Rocket Man Orgy is this podcast.
Up to 5 Bud Lights now.
Vote for us on Orlando Weekly. Scott's adding up his Bud Lights. Listen, Scott, we get it. You're an ally. We get it.
And a drunk.
We get it. My percentage just went down. Charles Roberts says in chat.
Oh, we never got to why your percentage went down.
Oh man.
We'll have to do that. And we should have. The Tonys were this past weekend.
Don't even know what that means.
I know, I didn't watch it either.
Wait, what?
There was no good musicals out this year. No one deserves a Tony.
No, the first non-binary person won. Actually, 2 non-binary people won.
Wow,
Tonys.
I am a homophobe now, I guess.
Yeah, Alex Newell from Glee. Yep.
What was Glee in? What was that? Was a TV show. That's not a Tony.
Yeah, no, but that's where he got his start. He was on the Glee project.
Okay,
he was on the Glee project.
That's cheating. I was going to say that's cheating. But
no, he was on the Glee project
on a Broadway show now.
Yep.
What Broadway show?
And then he was on, and I don't know his pronouns, so I apologize. He was in Once on This Island, the reboot of that. Didn't win for that, but then just won.
It's called Shut. So look into that.
Interesting. I didn't even know the Tonys were on. I try to boycott all those shows because those all the writers are boycotting it. So I feel like I should boycott with them.
I think it's a little homophobic to boycott the
it's Pride Month. Yeah, Shauna actually met Alex.
Damn it!
Really?
Yeah, they performed at one of the gay bars here back when.
Oh, that's amazing!
Glee still, it was awesome.
That's pretty cool. In New Jersey and Philadelphia, we just call them bars.
Oh my God! Okay, this is proving my gayness right now. Don called him Mercedes, which was a completely different African American character.
He did it on purpose. But
oh, really?
Yeah,
that's really funny.
Because there was I think somebody on the show called him Mercedes or something.
So it
was like a line on there.
Yeah, I think that Sue Sylvester called him like boy Mercedes or something like that. Or, because she was always like kind of picking at them for their differences, but I think it was in a way to showcase their differences from the writing. Anyway, sorry.
All right. So anyway, we first had the longest intro ever. Now we have the longest outro ever.
Both recording.
Both contributed by Scott. Both the fault of Scott. So if you hate that, take it up with HR, which is Scott. Next week I won't be here. So if you hate me, listen next week. Nick from Sandpiper. I always call you Nick from Sandpiper. It just sounds so good. Nick from Sandpiper just sounds so good. I like to plug you every time I can. So
hey, happy Pride Month.
Nick from Sandpiper will be hosting next week, which I cannot wait to.
In 2 weeks. So next week will be
No, because this is airing next week, so it will be next week in the future. Right, Scott? Scott, help me out, please.
We're recording it on the 29th. Scott's lost.
What's the question?
So I said Nick will be hosting next week. And when people hear this, it will be next
Nick
week,
is
right?
hosting in 2 weeks.
No, but that will be next week.
Next
when
week,
people are
no.
hearing this. When people are hearing
Next week,
this.
you're doing 2.
No, when people are hearing this, it'll be 2 weeks.
Nick will be hosting in 2 weeks. So if you hate me, tune in 2 weeks from now because I won't be here. So thanks for listening to this episode of No New Friends After Dark. Special Happy Father's Day. Whether you're an actual father to a biological human being, whether you're a father to an adopted human being, whether you're a father figure to anybody, thank you for being you and thank you for being that father figure in that person's life. Man, there's not much more I can say. Happy Father's Day from the No New Friends podcast After Dark. I'm Chris on behalf of Nick and Scott. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.
That was good. Nice, short and sweet.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
It's
just the longest. The longest. It's the only thing short this episode.
That was fun. That was enjoyable. It was light. We needed that after last week.
That was enjoyable. That was short. That was light. Nothing that Chris has heard before.
No New Friends After Dark has been brought to you by Sandpiper Vacations. SandpiperVacations.com. Just check out our website, NoNewFriendsPodcast.com. Become a friend with benefits. Check out our sweet merch and so much more. This has been a No New Friends Entertainment LLC production.